you're back with Man Made, only here on 103.5 Klite, and we're talking about your relationship status versus your fitness status. Now, there is a saying that, should I call it a saying or an observation, that when you're in a relationship, particularly a marriage, that you end up not taking care of yourself, and you end up, especially the guys, you end up, ballooning up, having a dad bod.
Yeah, the dad bod.
Is it true that when you get, bottom line, that you get fat when you're in a relationship? Now, we've sort of answered that a little earlier. Coach, you said no.
You might want to add happy relationship. Just to be
happy.
If you're in a relationship,
At the end of the day, okay, sabihin natin, happy relationship. Why is it that we would that some guys would just rather not take care of themselves? Why do they become complacent?
Well, the why is actually an interesting question because it's different for everybody.
Okay.
Like for me, there was one time when I ballooned. When in my, I mean, it's different for me, I guess. I gained 5 pounds, I think. No, but oh my God, 5 pounds when I stepped on the scale.
Supermodel?
No, when I stepped on the scale, I was like, oh, I was 5 pounds over. What? Because ever since I was in grade 8, I've always weighed 170 pounds. All up until now, I still weigh 170 pounds. I don't know why. Since
I wish I weighed.
I stopped growing when I was in grade 8, and I just maintained 170 pounds all the way until now. So one time we came from a vacation. We came from the States, and when I got back home, I was 175. I was like, oh my goodness, this can't be. So I'm sorry. I might be making some people feel bad.
The two in this room included the two other people.
No, but my wife, I know she'll be all right if I say this. She gained 10 pounds. But that was different. That was a vacation. And then after that, we called each other out. And then it was a different process for us because we started going to the gym together. Wala pang 360 then. So we just went to the gym. It was back in Celebrity Club in Quezon City. And then we went religiously for 3 times a week. So I can say that the opposite is also true. Now, when you get into a relationship, particularly one that's happy, like what James said, and you're really looking after your partner, then it actually ends up being a healthy one, and being you're pushing your partner to be healthy. You're pushing your partner to be to not necessarily lose weight, but to take care of themselves. So I've seen it happen in both ways. Na pwede rin tumaba, pwede rin naging mas healthy. So to answer the question why, depends on the circumstance, man.
Circumstance,
yeah.
I think, is the key word too. Because if you're also taking care of yourself, for example, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to respect your partner, make sure your partner doesn't leave you? Okay, let's just go extreme cases so it's easier.
Yeah.
So you either as a man or woman are going completely, you're shredding, you're doing everything to make sure that your partner, still remains attractive or attracted to you.
I did that actually.
Yeah, that's like I can't imagine that being a great soul motivator, because you have to have other motivating factors, because that can fluctuate in time. So if that's all you're basing it on, when you do get fat, you're going to be terribly insecure.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of it will damage your relationship. The same thing as when you peg it on looks. You're pegging it on a finite resource.
Yes.
And that is why some of the most beautiful women I've ever met are usually the most insecure, is because I'm only talking about the ones that peg their value based on their looks. Not all of them do that, of course. But if that's the way you're inclined and you're hinging it all around something that you have little control over. When I say little, Mother Nature will eventually win.
Everybody gets older.
Yeah. So you need to have some other source of motivation, not just the physical looks, etc. Having said that, feeling good about yourself does bring a lot of positivity to the relationship. When somebody is feeling inadequate or unhappy in themselves, they sometimes tend to bring that into the relationship. So I would just say, it's true that it happens when you feel comfortable, but I think in a normal cycle, people will eventually catch themselves after 5 or 10 pounds and say, you know what, okay, honeymoon's over.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, being a little responsible. In my case, it was more driven by the fact that I was earning a living out of being in the public eye, so I had to maintain a certain. I mean, I'm not by any standard fit, because they say in the question here on the board says your relationship versus your fitness status. If that was the case, my relationship is well-rounded, very well-rounded. But it's just more about my other motivating factor is work, just like Coach Chappy.
Yeah. I think
well.
we're about the same. We need to appear a certain way. Me for my coaching job, and James when he goes on TV and hosts season.
Which, by the way, why does a camera add 10 pounds? I mean, has technology not moved any further that it can take? I mean, if it can add, surely they can make
Why
it
can't
take
they take away 10 pounds, right?
Oh, but then again, having said that, I would rather it just be neutral, right? But if they can't figure that out with all the modern technology nowadays, and it adds 10 pounds, I'd rather it add than subtract. Only because, when you meet people in real life, it's nicer to hear.
Yeah. You look better.
Exactly like you do on TV.
No, they're like,
you don't want to hear that.
They all say, you're much taller and thinner than I thought in real life.
I don't know.
Rather than, oh my God, you're so hideous or something like that. That would be the opposite, right?
All you photographers and videographers, get in touch with us right now. James has a question for you. No, but okay. Now going on the flip side of things, there are, as you also said earlier, there are couples out there who actually do go to extremes. So just like you and your wife, Coach, that when they got married, they decided, let's get fit together.
Yeah.
Let's get fit together. Let's not get fat together.
Yeah.
And what would motivate them to do that? I mean, I know that a lot of married couples out there, once you're in that marriage already, especially if you're more than 10 years together, you have a tendency to become very comfortable with each other.
It happens. Yeah.
And you guys start to go to the bathroom at the same time, doing two different tasks. I mean, I won't get graphic because I know it's dinner time, but
I think that's as graphic as you can get.
But use your imagination. Yeah. So, I mean, how would you say? What's a good motivational factor?
Health is always a good motivator. That's why I always tell people, especially if you're above 30, get a physical exam every year. Get an annual physical exam every year, and that shows you things that you cannot see in front of a mirror, diba? What's going on inside your body. So that's always a good motivator. One of the couples who I look up to actually is, from our sister station, Slick.
Oh, right.
Slick Rick and his wife, Ging. I'm actually their ninong and their kasal.
Oh, okay, okay.
10 years younger, but yeah. Hey, Slick, I love you. But anyway, this couple, they actually lost a lot of weight recently. If you look at their feeds, and they did it together.
Their feeds, no pun intended.
Yeah. I know. Look at their Instagram.
You're fast.
But that too. Yeah. But so they went on a diet together, and I think that's key. If you do it on your own and you're in a relationship, then one, your partner might get suspicious, and two, you're
so is she.
Yeah. And two, it's harder. It's just logistically harder if you're doing it on your own and you're in a relationship. Because I can speak from experience. I do IF like what James does, but I also do, right now I'm doing macro counting. So I count my macros because of my travel schedule. It's hard to do IF. So I just keep my macros in check. It's hard if my wife is not in on it, because she prepares, we both prepare food, but we prepare food together. And if I need to have another set, of meals provided for me, apart from the family, then it's logistically harder. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Because we're a big family, so it's hard to cook for one and then have another set of meals for the other person. So it's always easier when you do it together. And again, your partner becomes suspicious if you're doing it on your own. And why are you getting thinner? And then why aren't you inviting me? So,
why is your hair black?
There's another thing.
Tita James.
What's his name?
What's his name?
All right, so we got to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back with more of Man Made, the show made for men by men.
Man Made Fridays.